Delhi Assembly that's resuming today with a CAG report on air pollution. It is the Chief Minister of Delhi, Rekha Gupta, who will be tabling the report as in regard to the prevention of vehicular pollution and pollution that's choking Delhi year on year. Do remember, Delhi is the most polluted capital, and this is for years now, and this is according to the latest report. To know more on this, we have with us Bhavreen Kandhari, and we also have Bhavreen will be joining us just in a minute. We also have Akash Vashishtha, a lawyer and environmentalist, joining us. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with us here on NDTV in regard to, the kind of prevention measures that the new government in Delhi is talking about, whether it's water sprinklers. And they're not going to, start off with these measures when, it really reaches peak levels. We're talking about prevention measures. How far do these go?
See, let me just first apprise you that a new government has taken guard in Delhi. So the spotlight has now shifted from the previous government to this government, and the expectations of the people are very, very high from this government. So they really have to meet the expectations of the people and their action plans or whatever they have announced. Now, this government must first understand that the biggest problem of Delhi today is the air pollution and, of course, the dirty water which is being supplied apart from the Yamuna thing. So they really have to, as I said, the expectations are very high. They really have to deliver on a number of fronts and take host of measures to tackle this problem of this menace of air pollution, and which is varied, which is multidimensional in nature. And so that is the biggest challenge before this government.
Right. There are a lot of challenges, but of course, this was an election issue as well, because, when the common man in Delhi spoke up, they spoke about two things. One was the traffic and one was the pollution. And those are the two areas of concern. And, those are really bothering the common man on the road. Take us through, when we talk about the prevention plans that are expected to be tabled by the Chief Minister today in the Assembly, we're talking about, water sprinklers, we're talking about other kind of measures that are going to be taken. But when we talk about the last 1 year, we've seen that only 1% has been spent by the Environment Ministry in regard to their pollution plan. And that is, revealing the kind of commitment that the government has towards the pollution problem at hand.
See, less than 1% spending means there has been no spending at all, to be very forthright in that perspective. Now, second part is what measures. Of course, you mentioned this is also something we have brought before the Supreme Court, that you need to exponentially raise the dust control equipments and devices. You need to exponentially increase the number of vehicles which are deployed. You need to scale up the number of these smoke guns, spray guns, smoke machines, etc., water sprinklers, of course. And all of this requires heavy amount of money. It requires a lot of funds. So, and Delhi being, there are pockets, there are wards which are very densely populated. So what is advisable is that wards which are very high in density, which are very high in population, you need to have more number of vehicles and more number of dust control devices in place. So all this requires massive fund, and of course there can be, and one of the suggestions which we also gave to the Supreme Court was that there had been this environmental compensation fund which has been created by the DPCC. So all that fund coupled with the other funds from other agencies or wherever, this requires to be spent on increasing the resources. Resources means of all these dust control devices and other measures, and of course increasing the enhancing the network of the recording stations, of the air emission monitoring stations. So because as of now there are very minuscule number of air monitoring devices, so the recording has to be very robust. And of course there are a lot of other measures, integrated traffic management cells, etc. Then you need to have online monitoring. So there are a lot of measures which all of them require resources.
Absolutely. We also have Bhavreen Kandari, environmentalist, joining us. Bhavreen, take us to the measures that need to be incorporated, given the fact that this is a new government and it seems to be very seriously taking the matter of pollution. And they're talking about reforms and preventive measures that will come into place way before, when even during monsoon, during summer, when relatively the pollution levels are low.
Yes, Divya, absolutely. Even my co-panelists have mostly spelled out everything. It's sad that we are in such a crisis, and it's a public health crisis, and obviously this shows the intent, of the various government and governments, because they to have funds and not spending them is absolutely ridiculous. Even I'll add to all that, besides monitoring and various other things that my co-panelists mentioned, also is the waste management. We are in it's such a huge failure. And, the expanding waste segregation, recycling programs, MRF facilities, etc. There is so much that could have been done on biogas plants, on, biodegradable alternatives. Like, there's just so many things that could have been done. What is it that is stopping, the government from actually taking, certain steps now that you have funds and, enforcing the bans, the single-use plastic ban, as you know, from a few, now it's over 2 to 3 years, it's not been implemented. So these are things that should have been done. Even the river, when we're talking about, because all this, I'm connecting this to the waste, is the river and drain, all the cleanup initiatives, even the, various waste to energy solutions that they've been giving. Instead of that, they could have worked on waste, all the waste segregation, implementation of the 2016 bylaws. Everything needs funds, we know that. And to have funds and not use this is inexcusable. It's a lost opportunity, and something that, should have been absolutely taken seriously, even on the green cover, to have funds, there's huge amount of, we've been talking about, on tree ambulances, on tree censuses, those are the kind of steps that will go a long way in protection of the green cover, which is extremely important. Only tree plantation, random, talking about and doing this, 1 million plants, trees being, planted on one day. Those are not the ways of, actually, moving towards, the direction that, we should not be going in,
Right. Delhi is, been reported as the most polluted capital in the world, and this is, it's been going on for years. But when we talk about the last 2 months and the last 3 months, from the beginning of this year, from Jan to March, Delhi has now gone ahead and reported the cleanest air it's had in the last 5 years. Would you say this is in regard because it didn't get that cold this winter, and that is perhaps the reason why, Bhavreen?
Yes, definitely. This is, actually, again, we should not, the leaders have to understand that don't try to deny, we have to first admit it. We have to understand that, yes, there are geographical factors, there is wind direction, like you said, the temperatures. So, so just putting in those headlines of, suddenly one day that, yeah, we've had the most, favorable days, etc. That doesn't help. So even in these last few weeks, etc., we've seen that, of course, we got these good air days because of the wind direction and the wind, which obviously takes pollution away. But the moment that stops, the local emissions start showing up. That is the PM 2.5, and all these various that we see, the smog guns and the water sprinkling, etc. It's not going to help, because water in any case helps only the PM10, which is the dust, and that also temporarily. The PM 2.5 emissions will stay. They will, the local emissions will always be stay. It's only when the winds, come in, they just take it away for from us for temporarily again for days until the wind, speed is, a little bit over the, normal sphere. So, so of course we have to understand that, the emissions are here. These are the local emissions, and we need to work on them. That's
Right,
the only
absolutely.
way.
Work is something that, of course, the new government has hit the ground running from what we can make out so far. And, will they be able to deliver is the big question. Thank you so much, Bhavreen and Akash, for joining us this morning. We also have Ishika joining us. Ishika, break it down for us, the measures that the new government is taking in order to handle pollution. What is it that they are doing different this time around in order to make sure that they can control this perennial problem?
Well, in fact, we have seen that pollution is, one of, rather, it has become a health risk for for the residents of the national capital, not just 1 year, but it is the story of every year. Now, in fact, today, if we talk about, the CAG report is going to be tabled over the highest contributor to this pollution, that is the vehicular pollution. All the promises that was made by the previous government regarding the mitigation of this vehicular pollution, were they actually seen on ground? That is what the audit report today will be showing. Now, in fact, this again CAG report will be tabled by the Chief Minister Rekha Gupta. But as you rightly mentioned, what this time we are seeing any different measures? Well, in fact, the Environment Minister in the Delhi government, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, he has said that in fact this time they are even looking at newer equipments, newer technologies to deal with pollution. And also, in fact, saying, if you talk about the mist machine, they are going to come. Also, in fact, not just air quality, in fact, monitors, but also water quality monitors to prevent even the water pollution will be there. If you talk about, if certainly 300 crores, that was the budget that was allocated separately for the pollution measures. So all of that is in fact being told by this government that will be, used to bring actual improvement in the air quality today. But that certainly remains to be seen because time is there. But today the audit report will be on the mitigation, how much of the mitigation actually was on the ground when it came to the vehicular pollution, which is the highest contributor here in the national capital. Over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Ishika, for joining us with those details.